All right, let's get into one of the great philosophical showdowns of the 20th century. This is a story about two absolute giants of thought, a revolutionary idea that just swept across a continent, and a deep, fundamental disagreement over what it even means to be human.
So picture this. It's Paris, 1946. World War II has just ripped the continent apart. The old certainties, the old ways of thinking, they're all in ruins. There's this desperate hunger for new ideas, for anything that can help make sense of the chaos.
And right into this moment steps the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. He gives this public lecture and introduces a phrase so simple, so powerful, and so liberating that it just captures the imagination of an entire generation. Existence precedes essence.
This became the rallying cry for existentialism. But way over in Germany, another titan of philosophy, Martin Heidegger, he heard this idea and basically said, hold on, that's not a revolutionary leap forward. You're actually still stuck in the same old trap.
So yeah, it all kicks off with that one lecture, Existentialism is a Humanism. In it, Sartre gives this radical new vision for humanity to a world that had completely lost its way. And almost overnight, he becomes this massive intellectual celebrity.
So, what was this idea that basically set Paris on fire? What did Sartre actually mean when he said that for human beings, existence precedes essence?
For Sartre, it's actually pretty straightforward. Think about a paper knife. Before it's ever made, someone has an idea for it. A purpose, a design, that's its essence. But humans, we're the complete opposite. We're just thrown into the world with no predefined nature, no divine plan. We just exist. And it's only after we exist, through our choices and our actions, that we create who we are. We build our own essence.
You have to realize just how radical this was. Sartre was taking a sledgehammer to centuries of Western thought. The idea that we have a fixed rational soul? Gone. The idea that we're made in God's image? Nope. Any philosophy that tried to pin us down with a predefined identity, Sartre was tearing it all down.
And this is where it gets both exhilarating and kind of terrifying. Because if there's no pre-written script for your life, then you, and you alone, are completely responsible for who you become. We are nothing but our choices. We are, as he famously put it, condemned to be free. It's a philosophy of total, radical responsibility. But when news of Sartre's lecture reaches Martin Heidegger, who's living this reclusive life in Germany's Black Forest, he is not impressed. He sees this incredibly popular idea not as a breakthrough, but as just another symptom of a huge problem that's been plaguing philosophy for thousands of years. See, for Heidegger, the entire history of philosophy had basically said essence precedes existence, right? The blueprint comes before the thing. And all Sartre did, in Heidegger's view, was flip it around. But just reversing an old formula doesn't mean you've escaped it. You're still playing the same game, just by a different rule. You're still trapped in metaphysics. And for Heidegger, that whole game, what he called metaphysics, had made this one colossal mistake from the very beginning. It spent all its time, thousands of years, getting really, really good at describing and defining beings. All the stuff that exists, like rocks and trees and people and even gods. But in doing that, it completely forgot to ask the most basic question of all. What does it even mean to be? And this brings us to Heidegger's absolute key idea, what he calls the ontological difference. On one hand, you've got beings, with a lowercase b. That's all the individual stuff in the universe. But on the other side, you have being, with a capital B. And this isn't just another thing on the list, it's the background, the clearing, the very isness of everything that allows any of those individual beings to show up for us at all. And this, Heidegger says, is what Sartre completely missed. And because Sartre missed this much deeper question about being itself, Heidegger argues that he also completely misunderstood the unique role of humanity. We're not just another being who gets to invent its own meaning. Our essence, our purpose, is something way, way more profound. Heidegger even uses a special term for this, existence, and he spells it with a K on purpose to connect it back to the Greek word ecstasies. For him, human existence isn't just being there like a rock is there. It's about standing out into the openness of being. We are the place where the truth of being can actually show up. That is our unique relationship to the world. To help us get this, Heidegger gives us this beautiful, powerful metaphor. He starts by saying that language isn't just a tool we invented, it's the house of being. It's the very structure where our whole understanding of existence lives and takes shape. And if language is the house of being, well then it's inside this home that we humans dwell. It's our proper place. We don't build the house, we live within it.
And this brings us to our ultimate role. We aren't the masters of this house. We are not Sartre's radical creators who make meaning out of nothing. No. We are the guardians, the caretakers. We are the shepherds of being. Our job is to listen, to care for, and to preserve the truth that reveals itself in this house.
So what you're left with are these two completely different visions of what it means to be human, and they each start from a totally different place.
You can really see the clash laid out here. For Sartre, everything orbits around the human subject, the I, that chooses, and our role is to create our own essence. For Heidegger, the whole focus shifts away from us and onto being itself, and our role becomes that of a guardian, a shepherd. It's a move away from pure subjectivity toward our unique place in the world.
But here's the really crucial part. Heidegger wasn't anti-human. He would argue his thinking was against humanism because he felt humanism didn't value humanity enough. By just calling man a rational animal or a subjective creator, he thought humanism was aiming way too low and completely missing our true, much higher calling, to be the guardians for being itself.
And that really leaves us with the core question of this whole debate. It pits the modern, radical freedom of Sartre against the ancient, deep listening of Heidegger. So what are we? Are we the authors of our own meaning, creating it all from scratch in an empty universe? Or are we guardians, shepherds, tasked with caring for a truth that is much, much bigger than we are? The way you answer that, well, that changes everything.